Hi, I'm Dr. Tracy Marks, a psychiatrist, and I make videos about mental health education and self-improvement. Today I'm talking about dissociation, how it can be helpful and hurtful for you. Then I'll talk about something that you can do about it. Dissociation is an experience where your attention and emotions are disconnected from the present moment. It's like you're here, but your mind and emotions are somewhere else. And this is a general term and experience. I talked in a previous video about depersonalization and derealization, and those are specific kinds of dissociative experiences. With depersonalization, you feel detached or disconnected from yourself, so you may feel like you're observing yourself. With derealization, you feel disconnected from your environment. So you may feel like you're in the room, but the room isn't real, or that you're in a different place than you really are. An example of this is experiencing a car accident where you smelled the burning rubber of the tires at the time of the accident. Then, whenever you're riding in a car, you think you can smell that rubber again. That's an example of a dissociative experience that you can have after the trauma experience. But sometimes you can dissociate during the traumatic event, and this can be your mind's way of protecting you from a situation where there's no escape. This is pretty common during physical or sexual trauma when you can't get away. In order to endure the assault, your brain turns down your response to pain and numbs your emotional response. In your mind, you may go to another place such that it feels like it's not really happening to you. During the traumatic experience, that kind of reaction helps you to survive it. But then sometimes dissociation becomes a built-in defense mechanism that you employ in other situations that are unrelated to the trauma. For example, you can be triggered to feel disconnected or numb in response to something that reminded you of the trauma, even if you weren't consciously aware of the trigger. You can just feel empty all the time and not know why. Because keep in mind, even though this reaction is defensive and protective, it's still what we would call a primitive defense mechanism. It comes from a place of being helpless and feeling defenseless. It's like a trapped animal playing dead. So it works in the moment, but it's not really adaptive. It doesn't help you in the long run. Even though your mind protected your conscious self from experiencing the trauma, your unconscious self still experienced it and still remembers, but that memory is fragmented. So at the time, you escaped fully dealing with the trauma, but it's just a temporary deferral. As you go on in life, the effect of the trauma accrues interest and continues to affect you on an unconscious level beyond your awareness. And that can look like you feeling empty or having flashbacks of the trauma, having memory lapses for times that you can't account for because you just zone out. Smells and sounds can remind you of the trauma in a way that your body responds with anxiety and fear, but you don't always put it together why you're feeling anxious. It's like the fragmented memories can come flooding back in response to sights, sounds, and touch. Anxiety is another trigger that can send you into a dissociative state. Let's say you're under a lot of stress at work. You can have trouble relating to people at work because with the added stress, you start zoning out at work, or you start withdrawing from people because you feel like you're a stranger and your coworkers make you feel uncomfortable. What can you do about this? The best treatments are trauma-focused cognitive behavior therapy, prolonged exposure, and eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. These therapies help you reprocess the trauma in a safe environment. It helps you get some closure on how the trauma affected you and pays down the interest on the emotional loan that the dissociation took out in your name. One self-help approach is to use grounding techniques. Grounding techniques bring your awareness back to the present moment where you are safe. It's like getting your bearings and refocusing. You can use sensory grounding or cognitive grounding. Sensory grounding uses the 5 senses to bring you back to the present moment, and cognitive grounding uses your thoughts to remind you that you are in a safe place. I'm going to give you 4 of each that you can start with. You can do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 sensory exercise, where you name 5 things you can see around you, 4 things you can hear, 3 things you can touch, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. Use a grounding smell that can bring your attention back to the present. Use strong smells like ammonia or tea tree oil. You can even use a fragrant hand cream if that's something that you use and have handy. Carry a sensory grounding object in your pocket, and it should be something that's pleasurable for you to touch, like a squishy stress ball or a smooth pebble. Splash cold water on your face and neck, and if that's too much for you, like you don't want to mess up your face, run cold water over your hands or your forearms. Here are some cognitive grounding exercises. Show yourself that you're safe. Remind yourself when and where the trauma occurred, and then state where you are now. You want to say this out loud to yourself. How far is that from the trauma? How long has it been since the trauma ended? Orient yourself to time and place. Describe where you are and what you see around you. Then tell yourself when you are. Say what year, month, day, and time it is. Repeat an inspiring quote or say something that's comforting to you. And this can be something that you commit to memory, or you can write it on a card and keep it with you. Say coping statements like, I can handle this. My situation is so much better now. These feelings will pass. I'll have a follow-up video talking about another technique that you can use to address dissociation. See you next time.